Welcome to our level 2, pillar 5 exploration of me lineage Taoist meditation. The focus of our pillar today is invocation. So for those of you who have made it to this level, this is a wonderful and exciting deepening of the practice that you learned last year. So last year, we talked about the work of Dr. Emoto and the impact that words have on water and how it can shape the crystals just by exposing the water to words. Do you guys remember this exploration? So this month, when you are using your words, really give some focus to the words in your world, the words in your life. We actually had a little bit of rain here in Los Angeles, and it was really extraordinary for my garden. I don't know if I can show you guys if I move my camera over, but this rain brought to life. See if I can take you out the window. Not really. It brought to life all of these plants that had been kind of asleep, these seeds that had been living underground. And I learned that seeds can actually survive, some of them, for thousands of years, waiting for just the right water, just the right nourishment to come to life. And so what happened is all of these plants started coming to life, flowers that I'd never seen before started to come to life. So to me, it made me aware, oh, so too little water is what we've had for a while here. We've had a drought, and that's a problem. Now on the East Coast, they've had storms and in some cases too much water, which can also be a bit deadly for humans, but also for plants. So just the right amount of water at the right time. And there's this magical, pristine nature that just comes to life. So taking that to another level with words, the wrong words can really have the potential to crush us, crush seeds of possibility that are living in us. And, having just the right words, having just the right nourishment when it comes to words, in my life, in my experience, can open up worlds of creation and imagination and possibility. So bring this into your focus this month in your life. What kind of words do you choose? When you speak, you're giving life to thoughts. So which thoughts do you choose to enliven, to share? And do you use your words to lift up those around you and yourself? How do you use your words? What kind of words do you consume? So just bring some awareness to this in your life, because why not? Here we are. Why not be wise and really embrace this opportunity to use words like water to nourish ourselves? So I want to give as much time as possible to Dr. Mao. So that's all that I have to say today. Dr. Mao, thank you so much for being here with us and for guiding us in New Lineage invocations with movement today.
Thank you, Olivia. I love your story of the little seed. It's very inspiring how, the potentiality of life exists in each one of us. And, again, they exist as spirit that needs to be watered and waiting for just the right condition, the right moment to blossom. and to grow. And that's essentially what's happening here is, these classes that we give, the meditations are little seeds that get planted. And maybe, you'll be attracted to a particular practice, and that is what you'll end up practicing a lot of. And then the other ones will just wait for the right moment. When you need it, you will call upon it, and it will be revealed to you. So we give you lots of tools, and then at the right time, you will find the tools to be useful for whatever the appropriate moments are, the challenge that you're facing in your life. So the invocation that you've been practicing in level 1, the Dowing invocation, to invoke is to, in some way, to call upon, but to also command. And so these are the spirit within you that you are commanding. And it's really interesting because, we don't hesitate to use the term like, I command my mind to do X, or to stop thinking, or this and that. And but somehow I think people feel a little uneasy about commanding your spirit to do, sort of things. So again, just think of it as a way to help. We all have a team of spirits within all of us, and if everyone is working on the same team, then you can get the job done, if you will, and get to the place that you want to be. And if everyone is moving in a different direction, there's pandemonium and confusion, and you find yourself running in circles and then back to exactly where you are in life. And so invocations are a way to really command your inner spirit to be in alignment, right, with the universal divine. And so many of the commands that we use, divine nature of wholeness, divine nature of subtle integration, peaceful mindedness, perfect harmony, so forth, all of which are a way to command our inner world to be in alignment with that of the higher divine. So, and hand postures have a long tradition of being used all over the world. And because holding certain hand postures can enhance the effect of these invocations and help you channel, connect with the channel, if you will. And I love that in the last class, in level 1, Olivia came up with a really wonderful metaphor, which was like a radio receiver. And you have a lot of static as you're kind of tuning and going through the spectrums and trying to find the right channel. But when you do, then the messages and the communication comes through clearly. But when you're not in the right channel, it's just a bunch of static. And so invocation is like that, is really tuning into the right channel and to align yourself with that channel. And so the postures, the hand postures, in the Sanskrit, it's called mudra, and in Chinese, it's called Shou Yin. Shou Yin is like, hand is so, and Yin means stamp. And so almost in a way, a specific posture of the hand that is like a stamp. And it provides an acknowledgement. So, all right, there are 21, obviously. So let's go through each one of these and then we'll practice them together. But before we do that, in case there are any questions, we can take them right now before we start. And then we'll go through the hand postures and clarify for you what the Shou Yin postures look like. And then we'll just run through it together.
Any questions before we begin? Looking for raised hands. This is a hand stamp too. No. Okay.
All right. Well, very good. So let's go through each posture for each invocation, and then and obviously, there'll be some support material afterwards. Olivia will get that out to you. So don't worry if you don't get it. Sometimes you find, wow, I missed that. It's okay. You'll be reminded with drawings or photos. Okay. So the first one, divine nature of wholeness. So this one, I'll just, I have to kind of stand up in order to kind of show. For some reason, my camera I should be horizontal. I mean, but it looks like it's not very horizontal. But anyway, so this one is just a 45-degree, to your body. So your hands are just 45 degrees on the sides, and the hands are relaxed. Okay, so that's all you do. So Olivia is also demonstrating, so very good. And so that's a simple one. We just kind of start, we're sitting, we're doing just sitting, but you can do standing as well if you like. But let's say if we're doing, sitting. So your hands are just stretched out to the side, 45 degrees from your body. Okay, so that's all you do. And as we are reciting the invocation, your hands will change according to corresponding ones that you are working on. And then, Dear Divine, so that's the first one. And then the second one is Divine Nature, Subtle Integration. And this one is just kind of bring your hands here and, just in front of your, sort of in front of your forehead, on both sides of your forehead. Your palm is facing forward like this. And this is all you do. Okay, palm is facing forward. And that's the second one. And again, take care of not to make your whole shoulder and neck tense, right? Sometimes you're holding this posture for a period of time. You want to repeat it over and over. So relax. Just make sure that you're not doing this, right? This is not what we're doing. We're relaxed, the whole neck, shoulders relax, and you are just raising your hand in front. Okay. All right. Now, third invocation, divine nature of peaceful mindedness. So think of your palm, right, facing the temple area. So as if you're kind of holding your mind. Wow, that's kind of easy. Maybe easier to remember. I try to kind of find a way for you to kind of remember what each posture is, and you can kind of. So the first one, the divine nature of wholeness. I think of it as if when we think of the whole, right, there's a circle, right? So there's a circle of wholeness. And when I kind of, make this circle and I come down, right, I end up on the side of my body at 45 degrees as kind of like the end of that circle that I just made, right? So I think of the wholeness as such. And then divine nature, subtle integration, with my palm facing forward and the heaven and so forth. It's like integrating my being heaven and earth in front, And then the third is peaceful mindedness. Okay, so my hands are here. I think maybe it's like protecting my ears, my eyes from being, distracted by all these craziness of the world. So it kind of helps me shield my mind, so therefore I can remain peaceful minded, right? So that's the kind of like how I remember it. Divine nature of perfect harmony. So this one, your hands will kind of, so again, always keep your neck and shoulder relaxed, but your hands are kind of, you're putting your hands out in front of you, right? And your fingers are facing forward. Okay, so this is basically like maybe stand up, so maybe it's a little easier to see what I'm doing. So it's like shoulder height, and your arms are slightly bent, right? So it's basically relaxed, and the hand is, the fingers are in front of you like this, facing in front of you. And so this, by the way, is our kind of a standard stance training. When you get into a horse stance, arms are stretched out in front, and you basically stand. So you have to harmonize above and below, and so the hands are right in the center between up and down, up and low. And and you have to maintain calm and harmony between the two halves. Then divine nature of equal-mindedness. So the equal-mindedness is where it's the same hands in front at shoulder height. Relax, remember, relax your shoulders, relax your neck. But now, instead of holding your hands with the fingers towards the front, now the whole hand just relaxes. Just relax, right? So relax at the wrist, let the hand hang. Just hang like this, right? So equal-mindedness, perhaps how you remember it is that there is no favoritism, left or right. Just both are just allowed to naturally drape, okay? And the next one, divine nature, constant, subtle virtue. The hands are still in front. We go from, first here, then hang, and now fingers turn towards each other. So the hands turn, and now the finger are towards each other. And what's happening on the inside, it's like a big circle. So this becomes a big circle all the way around, big circle. Okay, still in front of you. Okay. All right, so far so good. All right. Now, the seventh one, divine nature of original simplicity. And this one, it's just hands in front of your lower dantian like this. Okay, so you're kind of dropping your hands out in front. Yeah, like what Olivia's doing here, you're basically just, draping your hand with palm facing down. All right, very good. Next, we have divine nature of universal trustworthiness. And this Shou Yin posture is right hand right at the chest, right? So the ulnar side of your hand is facing forward, and your thumb is towards the chest. So this is it. And your other hand, your left hand, is underneath. So Olivia will demonstrate what that looks like. So the hand is, so here is at the chest, the hand is underneath with palm up, okay? So trustworthiness. And this hand posture is really common because the Guan Yin statue, the goddess mercy, is almost always in this posture. And this is a hand posture of trust. And so, you know, for millions, well, tens of millions of devotees of Goddess of Mercy and Guan Yin, this is a posture of trust, that you have faith and trust, right, in her power, protective power, or whatever powers that you believe that she may have. So that's the posture, trustworthy. So think of Guan Yin posture. Okay. And then divine nature of universal mastery is when we change our hand so that now the left hand instead of the right is in front of your chest. The difference here is there's a subtle difference with the next movement. That's what I want to point out, is that the wrist is crossed. So this hand is here, right? And the other, so instead of the other hand just under, just exact replica of the other movement, this one, it's crossed. The wrist is crossed. Okay, so in other words, here you're holding the left hand at the chest, the right hand, the wrist is crossed with the other wrist, and the palms facing. Okay, so that's the subtle difference and a variation of that, because the 10th movement, the 10th invocation, divine nature, undefeatable plainness, that is where the hand drops down, okay, to mirror that of number 8. All right. Moving on to the next one, 11, divine nature of non-aggression. So this is where the hands are crossed to the chest and the palms are facing your chest. So, and in actual different spiritual traditions, this is a sign of peace, you know. When you cross here and the palms facing you, it's a sign of peace offering. So non-aggression. Okay, so that's number 11. So now let's go ahead and go to number 12. Number 12, divine nature of unconditional supportiveness. So when I try to remember this one, I think of taking my right hand and palm facing up, supportiveness. I am holding. I'm like holding a branch, a umbrella, or whatever it might be. I'm supporting. Or I think of holding up the sky, right? And then my fingers, the two fingers, this is called the sword hand, index and middle finger together like this, and then pointing forward. So supportiveness, I'm holding and I'm pointing forward. Okay. Then number 13, divine nature of pervasive harmony. So this is where it looks exactly the same as our last movement, except instead of just an open palm to support, now the thumb and index finger connect. Okay, so they connect and they are still above, and you still point the sword finger with the left hand, but this is a different Shou Yin. So that's for number 13, divine nature of pervasive harmony. Okay. And then the next one, 14, divine nature of subtle universal law. Okay, so divine nature, subtle universal law is instead of, so we go from here, to here, like the thumb and index finger connecting, to baby fist, where your thumb is enveloped. And so now this is atop of your head, and we continue to point forward with our sword hand. Okay. All right. And now the next one, divine nature of subtle light. Now we go and switch with the other hand above. So now your left hand is above, and the right hand is the pointing finger, the sword hand. All right. So that's number 15. Now let's go on to number 16. Now we have, we'll cycle through everything we just did on this side. So the next one is, of course, your left hand is now on top, right? So first it was to support. The second is when we connect, right? We connect the thumb and index finger, and then now we point forward, right? So this is number 16. Divine nature of total integration. Okay, so divine nature of total integration. And then next one, we simply envelop our thumb, so that now it's a baby fist, and we move on into number 17, divine nature of life-giving vitalization. And number 18, our hands are back to the sides of our head. And now just making sure our thumb and index finger are together. Okay, so that's what it looks like. So this is number 18, divine nature of unaffected clarity. Unaffected clarity. Okay. All right. And then number 19, divine nature of great silent eloquence. We go back to putting our hands across our chest, and instead of just palm open facing your chest, we now connect our index and our thumb, index finger and our thumb. Okay, so that's number 19. All right, so now we have 2 more postures and we wrap up. Number 20, divine nature of highest awareness. So take 2 fingers and then cross them. So we have to do and then lower them to in front of your chest. Divine nature of highest awareness. And then finally, the last, Shou Yin, is divine nature of honest nature. And this is our very basic posture of thumb against thumb and the fingers, the second metacarpal on both fingers, on both hands connect, and lower it to right in the solar plexus area, right here. So divine nature of honest nature. That's the 21 hand posture, Shou Yin. Any questions?
Go ahead, Rafaela.
Yeah, my question is that it's going to be difficult. I mean, it's going to take time to learn all those postures. So somehow, are we gonna, when we're gonna rehearse them, it's going to be looking at the video, you know, each time. So I guess it doesn't matter that, you know, we're not closing our eyes or whatever. We can just like, you know, practice. It's just, I was just wondering how to learn it. Is there like a way to learn it quicker, or what you suggest as far as practicing?
Olivia has the answer.
I feel like learning movement is different for everyone. So for me, I learn through repetition. And what I'll do for us is I'll process this video tonight, and I have figured out how to flip it so that it can be your mirror. And the most natural way for me personally is through just practice. It becomes very natural and easy, especially if you're practicing every morning. Surprisingly, it doesn't take that long. And it, you know, like brushing your teeth, it becomes really not so complicated the more you practice. So for some of us, we'll get it, after 2 sessions watching the video, practicing with the video. And for others of us, it will take many more practices, and there's no right or wrong to that, but really through experiencing it in your body. And yes, eyes open. And always in the New Lineage Taoist meditations, you have that option of keeping your eyes open anyway, of allowing some of the present moment to keep us anchored. Yes. Yeah. I think for you, Rafaela, it will be easy and fast. Rafaela, for everyone who doesn't know, she's a wonderful Tai Chi instructor as well. Yes. So just be patient with yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. And for me personally, and maybe also for you, when I practice these hand movements, the Shou Yin, I feel it in my body, and it feels wonderful. So again, there's that reinforcement of, oh, like something's unlocking and energy is flowing. It's really a great feeling. So there's that reinforcement as well.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Renee, go ahead. Oh, hey, Margarita. We'll go to Renee first, and then to Margarita. Renee, go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to confirm that whenever we cross our arms, our wrists, or our hands, that the left is always on the outside and the right is on the inside. Is that correct?
No. It's the right side on the front.
Dr. Ma?
And no, it's not necessary. And in our purposes, I wouldn't worry too much about right or left. Just, as long as you're crossing, you're fine. And whatever feels comfortable for you, yes, there are variations. We emphasize the left is, yang and the right is yin, and so forth, so forth. But in this case, don't worry too much about that. Just whatever feels comfortable for you. Okay.
Excellent question, Renee. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mao. Margarita.
Yes, thank you, Olivia. I could not appreciate the sword position of the hand. I could not understand how the sword position is.
So here's, if you look at my hand, right? So you have the index finger and the middle finger together, and then the other three finger are, enveloped like a fist, right? So that's what it looks like. And
Okay.
so that's why that's called the sword hand. And it is oftentimes used as a command, because in ancient time, or even to this day, you write your command in the sky, and you literally draw these symbols, and then and there's a command. So you use this as a sword hand. It's a hand of, kind of signaling and projecting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Margarita. Thank you, Dr. Mao. So sword hand will come up quite a bit in New Lineage Taoist teachings and movements. But you'll also see it in a variety of energetic practices. Any other questions before we begin? I think everyone is ready, Dr. Mao, if you're ready.
Yes, let's begin. Let's go ahead and, all right, just like any other meditation we do, we must get into our meditation pose of straighten our spine, elongating, allowing energy to flow like a river throughout your spine. And relax your body, your mind, and take deep breaths. So first inhale and exhale. Focus on your lower dantian. Become aware of that energy center. Now move your attention up to your chest, the middle dantian. Inhale. And exhale. And now move up to your upper dantian in your forehead. Inhale. Exhale. And open the upper dantian, the crystal palace, to welcome the star, North Star light, as the light streams in and fills up the entire energy cavity. Then it moves down to the middle dantian, and the light fills up the entire middle dantian of the chest. And then, as the light moves down to the lower dantian, it recharges your energy completely. And now we shall begin with invocation and Shou Yin practice. Divine nature of wholeness. Go ahead and just bring your hands out to the side at 45 degrees to your body. remove distraction from the ears and eyes to keep my energy full, my spirit whole. Keep the mind from wandering. The subtle body is like nature and heaven. It receives all and holds nothing. And now move your hands up to your forehead, in front of your forehead, palms facing forward. For the next invocation, divine nature of subtle integration. The mind and heart represent the fire energy in my body. Only when mind and heart are harmonized with my body, the water energy can the correct goal of fundamental cultivation and good health be achieved. And now we move our hands with our palms facing the sides of our head, our temples. Divine nature of peaceful mindedness, flowing smooth and free. So should my mind be kept clear of sticky impediments and keep the same innocence inside as out. This is the way to wholeness. And now go ahead and move your hands to in front, fingers pointing forward. Relax your shoulders and your neck. Divine nature of perfect harmony, the calm power derived from my daily practice can transform what seems to be a disaster into a blessing. Learn this, and I shall be qualified to sit in the seat of the lotus, looking deep within myself. And now droop your hands by keeping them in front, the arm outstretched forward. Divine nature of equal mindedness, to become one with Tao. There is only one requirement. Keep a consistently calm mind. Keep it peaceful, transparent, still as the water of a clear blue lake, and I shall enjoy the subtlety of great bliss. And now change your hand posture so that turning your hands so that the fingers are facing each other, still outstretched in front of you. Divine nature of constant, subtle virtue. Stay whole, stay clean, stay firm, and in one moment, I can experience everything of Tao and become an adored child of heaven. And relax your arms down to your sides so that you can rest them before we move on to the next invocation. place your hands, both of them in front of you, palm facing down, right about the level of your lower dantian. Divine nature of original simplicity. Before touching the formed, I rest in the unformed. I obey the universal energy in order to evolve higher. Now place your right hand at your chest and the left hand palm facing up below in the posture of Guan Yin. Divine nature of universal trustworthiness. Follow what is right is like a stream flowing towards the ocean. Keeping my innate virtue is the true foundation of happiness. Through practicing great virtue, I can refine my personality and alter my life. Now switch your hands so that the left hand is at the chest and the right hand with the wrist crossed with the other wrist in front, the palm facing you. Divine nature of universal mastery. When I remove all covers and obstacles right here and now, I shall know the origin of my life. A long pilgrimage is not necessary to find my source. Now go ahead and keep your left hand in place in front of your chest. The right hand drops down below it, the palm facing up. Divine nature of undefeatable plainness. The road to becoming a Shen, a divine immortal, a spiritual achieved one, is clearly marked. It is my impatience and desires that blind my own spiritual eyes. And now cross your hands in front of your chest, palms facing your chest. Divine nature of non-aggression. Self-discipline alone will correctly develop my divine nature. The subtle body which will manifest itself is the basis of my everlasting spirit, my Shen. Drop your hands and rest for a moment before we continue on to the next Shou Yin. Now your right hand comes to support on top of your head. The left hand is the sword hand pointing forward. Divine nature of unconditional supportiveness. The subtle power comes not just from within ourselves, but it is added as heaven, earth, and all living things work positively through me. And now keep holding that posture, but connect the right hand, the thumb, and index finger, keeping it in place. Divine nature of pervasive harmony. Allow Tao to penetrate, and it will expand, filling my body and being. My way of life will be naturally smooth and straight, wholehearted, and with strong protective power. I shall forsake the bitterness of life and be content within myself. And now make a baby fist with your right hand and place it on top of your head. Divine nature of subtle universal law. When I adhere to sacred method, cultivating myself precisely, keeping clear as to my every motive and idea, then all good, positive qualities will become firm, and all traps can be avoided in my life. Now relax both hands, both arms to the side before we move on to the next invocation and Shou Yin. Now the left hand comes atop your head, palm facing up. The right hand in the sword hand point straight forward. Divine nature of subtle light, the luminosity of pure mind comes only with the depth of desire. As the neurotic mind quiets, the spirit comes alive, realizing an unusual, majestic light. Now connect your finger so that your thumb and index finger are connected in preparation for the next. And now your sword hand is pointing forward. Divine nature of total integration. I persevere in connecting with the universal light. Through it, I will achieve the fullness and brightness within my nature. I shall experience and verify the truth of the universe myself, and thereby voyage safely across the boundless spiritual ocean. And now, baby fist with your hand, the left hand, and the sword hand pointing in front. Continue. Divine nature of life-giving vitalization. I never tire of studying life. I ceaselessly gather my chi and keep it whole. Essence, chi, and nature are the three treasures of my life. And now I bring my hands to the side and connect my thumb and index finger. Divine nature of unaffected clarity. Unstain and empty my mind. Thus it will become a fine tool that will unite the scattered fragments of myself into one whole, so that what is may become clear. keeping the connection between your thumb and your index finger, and cross your hands, the palms facing your chest. Divine nature of great silent eloquence. Tao is without color or form, yet from it emerges all wonders of the universe. So subtly flows the Tao deep within the fertile stillness, hushed within profound quietude. It is indeed the great reality. And now bring your hands down and let it rest momentarily before resuming to our last two invocations. Index and middle finger, cross those fingers in front of your chest. Divine nature of highest awareness. Trace back to the root of my soul, found deep within quiet reflections, and the ultimate truth unfolds itself naturally. And now we go back to our hand Shou Yin posture, pressing thumb together and the metacarpals of all four fingers at the level of your stomach. Divine nature of honest nature. I keep my spirit untouched, my mind clear and detached, my body still and upright. All my actions have a deep respect for the original stillness of the universe. Though peacefully engaged in life, I abide in the infinite simplicity of the Tao. And now bring your awareness to the upper dantian of your forehead. Inhale. Exhale. Next, bring your awareness and energy back to the middle dantian. Inhale. Exhale. And finally, bring all your chi and awareness back to the lower dantian in the lower abdomen. Inhale. Exhale. And now rub your hands together. And bring energy in your hands to your eyes as you cup over your eyeballs, activating, opening. Okay, well, this shall conclude our class. And now back to you, Olivia.
Thank you, Dr. Mao. Thank you, everyone, for zooming in today. I will process our media and have it in our library so you can enjoy this practice this month. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Thank you so much, Dr. Mao.
It's my pleasure, and thank you, Olivia, and everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mao.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.